Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Inspirations by Dr. Gail. Today my topic is money, 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 money. Money. Examining your beliefs about money and success. This is part 7 of the series titled Creating Your Roadmap to Success. During the 1970s, the song For the Love of Money by the O'Jays became very popular and was nominated for a Grammy Award. That song is still popular today and even became the theme song for the TV series The Apprentice. Here are some of the lyrics. Quote, "Some people got to have it. Some people really need it. For the love of money, people will steal from their mother. For the love of money, people will rob their own brother. For the love of money, people can't even walk the street. For the love of money, people will lie, they will cheat. For the love of money, people don't care who they hurt or beat." Unquote. Obviously, this song is still popular because the lyrics are true. We need money to survive, but as the song reveals, some folks will do anything for money. For example, in last week's episode, I shared Nathan's story with you. Nathan's father was a surgeon who devoted his life to providing health care for low-income individuals. Yet, at age 75, he was attacked by robbers who almost killed him, and he never recovered from that brutal beating. Unfortunately, as the song For the Love of Money and Nathan's story indicate, some people will commit crimes for money. And this includes white-collar crimes, blue-collar crimes, and every other type of crime. Because of an obsession with money, identity theft has become a common problem in the U.S. and other countries. One woman and her team of bandits killed an elderly woman and cut off her finger in order to get the ring that she was wearing because of their obsession with money. Recently, 2 young adults beat up their own grandparents for money. Numerous teens and adults have murdered their parents for money. Because of an obsession with money, sex trafficking has become a huge problem throughout the world. Countless pornographers have filmed babies, toddlers, and other children being raped and tortured because of greed and their obsession with money. Businessmen and women create Ponzi schemes that will rob investors of their life savings because of their quest for money. In fact, white-collar crime is so common that the TV series American Greed was created to expose many of the highly educated criminals who have ruined people's lives because of their thirst for money. Because of an obsession with money, America now has a national drug crisis that has resulted in many, many problems. We now have an addiction rate that is so high and widespread that it's been labeled an epidemic. According to the CDC, overdoses involving opioids killed more than 47,000 people in 2017, and 36% of those deaths involved prescription opioids. America's national drug crisis has also led to families and communities being destroyed, generational cycles of drug addiction within families, and so many drug-related crimes that I can't even begin to tell you about them except for this one. Several years ago, a mother was convicted of selling her 5-year-old daughter to pay off a drug debt. Today, the drug pusher who raped and killed that 5-year-old baby sits on death row. Like that mother, numerous other women and men have jeopardized their children's lives in order to feed their drug habits. America's national drug crisis has also led to babies being born with drugs in their system, children being placed in foster care or having to be raised by grandparents or other extended family members, children having learning and behavioral problems, unfair sentencing laws resulting in higher numbers of African Americans and low-income individuals being incarcerated instead of receiving treatment for their addictions. In fact, because of racist sentencing laws, prisons and jails are full of low-income people of color who sold drugs but the role that white-collar criminals have played in the creation of this national drug crisis has been minimized. In her book, Dope Sick, Dealers, Doctors, and the Drug Company That Addicted America, best-selling author Beth Macy exposed this hypocrisy and double standard. She also revealed the following 4 facts. Number 1, America's history of drug addiction goes as far back as the 1800s, when Civil War veterans and many wealthy individuals were addicted to morphine. 2, many children who were placed on legal drugs for hyperactivity became drug addicts as adults. 3, many doctors receive gifts from pharmaceutical companies for prescribing opioids to patients. And 4, many pharmaceutical companies, aka white-collar drug pushers, have become rich as a result of the number of people who became addicted to drugs. Sadly, in spite of all of the damage that has been caused by America's drug crisis, lots of individuals honestly believe that selling drugs is their only option to become successful. In Dear Beautiful, a self-empowerment book for Black women, I shared the following story about a recent encounter that I had with 2 drug dealers. During November 2017, I boarded a flight in Houston, Texas, that was headed for San Diego, California. I sat in an aisle seat next to a Latino male teenager. An African-American man who said he was on his way to San Diego to visit his 11-year-old daughter was sitting in the window seat. Although I'd planned to sleep for the entire flight, my talkative seatmates made this difficult. No matter how hard I tried to sleep and mind my own business, I couldn't help but hear their conversation. Soon I became irritated. Not only did their chatter keep me awake, but I also had a problem with their topic. They had the nerve to be bragging about selling drugs. To make matters worse, the adult was even giving the teenager tips on how he could make more money selling drugs at his high school. When I couldn't take it anymore, I told them about my 2 brothers who died under tragic circumstances. One died in prison, the other was murdered. Before they died, both had been addicted to crack cocaine for decades. I also told these strangers that if they didn't change their lives, their stories would also have bad endings. After all, I said, the jails are full of Black and Latino males just like you. They listened politely. When the man eventually closed his eyes and tuned me out, the teen began to talk to me. He said he'd been bullied a lot by his peers and had a lot of family problems. Although his parents had recently gotten back together, he could never get the image of seeing his father beat his mother out of his head. He also explained that he was only going to sell drugs long enough to earn enough money to go to college. Then he planned to quit. I told him that he'd probably be arrested before that happened. When the plane landed, the teen thanked me, hugged me 3 times, and said that I was an angel. He's probably the only person who ever called me an angel on this earth. I told him that I'd be praying for both of them to change their lives. Here's the main point that I hope that you'll take away from today's episode. Having lots of money is great, but it's not the key to true success. Furthermore, although many people worship the almighty dollar in the U.S. and will sell their souls for money, history and research have shown that having lots of money doesn't necessarily lead to happiness. For this reason, your roadmap to success should include developing realistic and healthy beliefs about money. As I explained in a previous episode, both Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain were very successful and extremely wealthy, but both committed suicide in 2018. According to Business Insider, Bourdain was worth $1.2 million when he died. Reporters estimate that Spade's net worth ranged from $150 million to $200 million at the time of her death. In other words, both were extremely wealthy but unhappy enough to end their own lives. Last year, I met an oncology nurse who told me that her life's mission is to help dying patients. When I asked her what she'd learned from her patients throughout the years, she said that not one had wished for more money, but each told her that they wished they'd spent more time with their loved ones and doing things that they enjoyed. Another nurse, Bronnie Ware, wrote a book about what she learned during the 8 years that she worked with dying patients. In Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, an interview with Ware that was published online, here's what she said. The first most common regret was, quote, I wished I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. The second was, quote, I wished I hadn't worked so hard. The third was, I wished I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Fourth, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And the fifth was, I wish I had let myself be happier. In an online article titled, What the Dying Really Regret, Carrie Egan, an author and hospice chaplain, said, quote, there are many regrets and unfulfilled wishes that patients have shared with me in the months before they die. But the stories about the time they wasted hating their bodies, abusing it, or letting it be abused, the years people spend not appreciating their body until they're close to leaving it, are some of the saddest. Unquote. Although it's necessary to have enough money to survive and thrive in life, the previous examples reveal that at the end of our lives, the amount of money we have won't be our biggest concern and probably won't be as important to us as we may have thought. Stay tuned for this week's Personal Empowerment Challenge. This week's Personal Empowerment Challenge consists of 7 exercises, which I'd like for you to do in your personal empowerment notebook or journal. Let me start with some related quotes. In Money, Master the Game, 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom, Tony Robbins, who was once homeless and later became very wealthy, said this, quote, money can't change who we are. All it does is magnify our true natures. And one thing is for sure, you either use it or it uses you. You either master money or, on some level, money masters you. How you deal with money reflects how you deal with power. Is it an addiction or a blessing, a game or a burden? Unquote. So in your personal empowerment journal, for number 1, I'd like for you to explain your core beliefs about money. For example, explain where money fits on your list of top 10 priorities. Number 2, financial guru Susie Orman often says, people first, money second. So one of the best indicators of your beliefs about money is how you view and treat people. In your journal, explain how you treat and view people who have less money than you and your reasons for doing so. Number 3, explain how you treat and view people who have more money than you and your reasons for doing so. According to Tony Robbins, money is certainly one of the ways we can turn the dreams we have into the reality we live. So for number 4, explain the amount of money that you think you need in order to make your dreams come true, how you decided on this amount, and your plans to get the money that you need to accomplish these dreams. Number 5, if necessary, develop your own personalized financial literacy plan. Here's what I mean. When I was a high school teacher, one of my African American female colleagues quit in the middle of the school year. She was so fed up with a lot of the nonsense that was occurring, she walked off the job and gave them a very short notice. I was so surprised that she could afford to quit that I asked her how. She replied, From the time that I was a little girl, my mother taught me to always save mad money. Mad money allowed me to leave a bad marriage, and because of my mad money, I can afford to quit this job. In other words, her mother had taught her to save enough money for emergencies and the so-called rainy day. Unlike this teacher, during my childhood, my family was on public assistance until I was 12 years old. As an adult, I also had to rely on public assistance for a short time, shortly before and after I became a single parent. If, like me, you were never taught financial literacy skills, especially the importance of saving more than you earned and learning how to invest wisely and grow your money, the following resources may be helpful to you. Money Talk News, which is an online magazine that you can subscribe to for free and receive daily tips if you'd like. You can Google talks and articles by Tony Robbins and Susie Orman. You can Google financial literacy and read lots of wonderful related articles. And you can read the following two books by Deborah Smith Paget, and her last name is spelled Pegues. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. The first book is The 1 Minute Money Mentor for Women. The second is 30 Days to Taming Your Finances, which I read several years ago. Number 6, if you're already extremely knowledgeable about how to save, invest, and grow your money, I highly urge you to make a list of adults, teens, and children in your sphere of influence who would benefit from learning what you know. You can also Google financial literacy for teens and financial literacy for children to find additional resources that would be helpful to children and teens. Finally, number 7. As I stated earlier, many individuals, including youth, believe that the only way that they can become successful is to sell drugs. So in your journal or notebook, explain why you agree or disagree with this belief and what you tell your child, niece, nephew, or grandchild if this is what he or she believed. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you'll tune in next week to hear The Spirit of Fear, one of the biggest roadblocks to success. This is part 8 of the series, Creating Your Roadmap to Success. For more information about Inspirations by Gail LLC, please visit my website, www.drgailthompson.com. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this podcast and hit the like button. You can do this through my YouTube channel, Inspirations by Gail. If you're interested in the theme music for this podcast, please check out music by Aaron Nimbus on iTunes. In the meantime, please remember this. Having lots of money is great, but it's not the key to true success. Furthermore, although many people worship the almighty dollar and will sell their souls for money, history and research have shown that having lots of money doesn't necessarily lead to happiness. For this reason, your roadmap to success should include developing realistic and healthy beliefs about money. Until next time, hugs and blessings. I'm Dr. Gail L. Thompson.